this game. This is part of the Discord Live League. If you don't know what that is, it is a community-based league where we play live games against another player. We have 5 minutes on the clock and we get 2 extra minutes every turn. And so we just play live in one sitting, and the longest the game can go in theory is an hour and 10 minutes, but it never really takes that long. So, 1 vs 1 Triangle Hill. This is Fog, I believe. Yep, it is. It's also tier 3, so I went with Andy because Andy is pretty good in Fog. He can hide his units. His injured units can just stay in the back and heal up. Plus, I look at these mountains and this ocean tile. I see this terrain and I think, okay, maybe some artillery can be useful here. Like, well, even if it wasn't that useful, I'd probably still use artillery to support my pushes. So, my opponent picked Sonya, and I think, alright, Sonya is tier 3 in Fog. And if I were Sonya and I managed to get an infantry on the mountain, I would be able to see all the way to this mountain. Or if I get on this mountain, I would be able to see all the way to that base. So Sonya isn't actually that bad. She's typically considered the worst in tier 3 Fog for most places. But the ability to see the base just by getting an infantry on this mountain is pretty strong, and I would say she's... well, I don't know how she compares against other COs. But for the purposes of this game, I do believe Andy is a pretty soft counter to Sonya. Being able to heal up after taking a shot from the counter break is some kind of counter. But let's begin. Oh. Wow. Okay. Pretty normal opening. I go for my neutral base first, like always. And I forgot we started with a black boat on the HQ. I probably could have used it better to help my capture game. But I'm not sure how much it would have helped. I think it was either this turn or next turn where I realized I have a black boat. I still don't use it, but since these captures are just 2 turns away from my base. Alright, I go for the center one first. It's 2 turns from my base, and I can plop it on the mountain, get some vision, and then move up to that city. Okay, my opponent sees my infantry here. That's a... okay. Turn 4 recon, just like me. I also send my recon up, except I send it to this side because I wanted to harass this corner area. And maybe force out a tank on the weak side. I move my black bow here. Since this infantry isn't going to capture anything soon, I might as well try to pick him up and send him somewhere over here where I still have plenty of properties to capture. So that was my reasoning for moving this black boat. I can also pick up this infantry from the base if I wanted to. Alright. So I pick up both the infantries and I drop it in such a way that they can reach the comm tower and this property on this next turn. And I'll have this penguin here capture this property. I moved my penguin in this forest because I don't want the recon to see it. And also, I have the option to capture either of these 2 properties if I wanted to. And then I move my other penguin in, so if this penguin goes up, this penguin will go down. or vice versa. I have options. I moved my recon into this forest, which my opponent was unable to do because they moved it over here to the right. So I have a... wait, hang on. Alright, yeah, my opponent is Sonia. They get this bridge. They have vision on this bridge. I also have vision on this bridge, so Sonia should know that my penguin is in here. I go with an artillery. Artillery is always nice, and it's artillery is also strong against Sonia since she can't first strike indirects during counter break. So I'm using artillery. Alright, skips that capture and goes for another one. Okay, I chose to capture it right away. Already captured the comm tower. I mean, we aren't fighting yet, so I didn't really prioritize the comm tower that much. But I am pretty far ahead in income. I am player 2, so I should be ahead. But at the start of the turn, we see that our income is the same. So I guess delaying that comm tower did put me ahead in the income in the capture game. So I have a recon in this forest, and I think if I'm over here, Sonia could just as easily be on the other side, over here on the left side. So therefore, when I go capture this property, I should put another penguin just to block that recon. And then I build a tank because I'm expecting a recon. And I also build a tank on my strong side because I do want to push on this side. Alright, an artillery wall already. Well, an infantry wall protecting that artillery. But without a tank, I can just interrupt this capture. So, use the black boat just to plop an infantry on the mountain. And I go for this property. It might be a little bit ambitious of me. It was very ambitious of me since I could get interrupted. But I was feeling a little confident because I got a tank. I interrupt this capture, and there was no tank backup to punish me, so... And then I moved here. Yeah, okay. In my defense, I had an artillery, and this is my 2-base side, my 2-base and 2 airport side. So... infantry traits are actually good for me, because I will have 2 units to 1 in terms of ground units only, and I might even get battlecopters to support it. So a 1-to-1 trade over here is actually good for me. Plus I have tank backup. Alright, interrupt my capture. Sonia bad luck preventing this kill from happening. So that is one weakness of Sonia. You might think, oh, 1 HP, it's not going to do anything. It still provides me vision. It provides me it will distract one of their units because they have to spend time killing it. So this unit is actually useful in terms of forcing my opponent to waste time dealing with it, or otherwise let me have vision because it's still alive. So that's one of Sonia's main weaknesses. But saw my penguin got shot here, and then got killed by that infantry, so I know that there's an artillery somewhere, of which I of course would assume is over here. Kill off that recon, and then I create something of a wall over here to protect my tank. I know they can just go around, but by the off chance that they position their tanks in a bad way, I might get away with this. Anyway, I spot that infantry, take a shot at it, and I'm not sure if I went into... I did, okay. So my reasoning for going in, if my opponent wants to shoot at this again, they will need to sacrifice another infantry to get vision for the artillery shot. And once again, a 1-to-1 trade when I clearly outnumber them is a good thing. Alright, I move my tank over here, seize this infantry. Now I know the artillery has to be either here or here. And this infantry can also see my tank. Well, this infantry can't see my tank anyway. Okay. Anyway, I completely interrupt this capture, so that's like a free infantry kill for me. Tank shoots at my tank. I lose a tank very quickly, and this was pretty sad because I just lost a tank to kill a recon. But I am ahead in the capture game by quite a bit because I was able to successfully interrupt this property. Alright. So my opponent over here moved the artillery here. They said that they wanted to trick me into thinking that artillery is in the forest, but didn't account for one thing, and that is I had a recon. Not only was I able to kill this infantry, I also spotted this artillery exactly for where it is. And I check over here to see if there's anything else hiding. I gambled on the fact that they probably don't have a tank ready, so I just took a shot at that artillery. And I just rushed my artillery forward because what are you really going to do about it? You're going to shoot at it? I'm Andy, I'll just heal it back up. So, move into this forest just to be annoying. I'm expecting a battlecopter because I got battlecopters, and if I got battlecopters, my opponent could probably also get it. Just hide it in the forest, and then create a nice wall here with the terrain, and start building the tanks because I need some tanks to deal with tanks. And okay, kill off my infantry, that's fair. Immediately starts taking my properties. And I think, well, I'm not going to give that up without a fight, so here's the Sonya bad luck going into play again. I believe this normally would have been at 1 HP, but because of Sonya's bad luck, it survived that too. Alright. I decide to attack these infantry, but do it in such a way that I have plenty of units to create a nice wall to protect my vehicles. Over here I even loaded my infantry so I can attack with a full health infantry and then unload it onto the mountain, so I can like swap these units. I always wish that I could swap units to do stuff in the cartridge Advance Wars, but it's nice to be able to do it at least with a black boat. I attack this infantry so I can get vision on the base. I don't see an anti-air, so I go in and just in case there is an anti-air in the forest, I put my tank over here and I let my artillery in the front line because what are you gonna do? Shoot at that artillery? You're not going to kill it, I'll just heal it back up. Finish capturing this property, and then I go for this corner property. So in this turn I successfully denied both of these captures, and I'm starting to threaten their captures. I can only hope that I compensate for losing that early tank with these income. Yes, penguins. Oh, just to make it a little easier to view things, I'm going to have my unit facing the left now, so we face the opposite direction. Hello, Archaic. Okay. My opponent retreats, and I still don't see an anti-air. But then I think, what if they are building the anti-air from this base and started shifting it right? What if there's an anti-air in this in the fog right now? Lucky. What if there's an anti-air on the road right now? I don't know if there's an anti-air here. So I suspected that my opponent might be shifting an anti-air from the 2 base side onto the 1 base side. So, as a result, oh, they got my anti-air. But as a result, I chose to be a little more cautious on this side and decided not to go forward with an attack. I could probably, I just chose not to go forward with my attack under the fear that there may be an anti-air hiding in the forest. Well, hiding in the fog here that I can't see. So instead, I just go capture this property, and then I begin shifting the rest of my army to my 1 base side. I think maybe if my opponent thinks that I still have units here, but in reality I'm shifting my tanks down, they will get hit by a surprise attack and I would just overwhelm them on this side. My anti-air survives at 5 HP, but that's fine because I'm Andy. I would just heal it back up during my superpower. I do sometimes stream it live, if I get a live game, but I'm a bit more busy now because of college. I do intend to do some live games, maybe when I have time I'll do it, but not right now. Okay. So I begin shifting my tanks to the other side, and he continues attacking this side. Okay. Really pressing that numbers advantage here. So I'm building a medium tank. Oh, I'm a math major in college. Okay. So I decide tanks won't win me the war right here. I need some medium tanks. So I built a medium tank. And I also begin shifting my battlecopters down to the left. Because why would my opponent build anti-air on this side when I don't have any airports here? Yes. So if I bring these 2 battlecopters down here, they will be forced to withdraw because they won't have any anti-air. At least that's my plan. And I also I built a second medium tank, I believe. Yeah. I wanted to start pushing these tanks back. And strangely enough, oh, it's not strange, my opponent also started shifting their units left. They must have thought that because there's not a lot of pressure on this side, I might be front shifting, so they're trying to meet up with my They might be trying to meet up with my units. And as much as I want to, I kind of mispositioned my tanks a little bit. I thought this tank could reach further in. Probably should have placed it over here instead, but so whoops. It didn't show it because that's how the replays. Yes, I agree, penguins make the game a lot better. So I moved my medium tank. I know that there's a tank in this forest, but there's a chance it might not be, so I let it get trapped. Makes no difference anyway. And I built a recon. The replay doesn't show it, but my medium tank from the base has actually moved over and got trapped by this tank in the forest. I also moved my artillery. I began shifting into this forest because I highly doubt anyone would check this forest. And I continue shifting my units to the left side of the map. Yep, it updated. Medium tank is here now. Captures all 3 of these properties. Meanwhile, I captured this side. And my opponent decides to retreat because they have no response for the medium tanks right now. They don't have a medium tank of their own. And they do have battlecopters, but they get easily countered by anti-air. I move my recon here to get some vision. Move my recon again to get some vision. And I decide to go forward with this. I chose to use a light tank instead of a medium tank because I'm worried about possible artilleries in this forest. I have an artillery here. I would think my opponent also did something similar. And I instead moved my medium tank over here where it creates a nice buffer. Like, there's no way you can break through this with just light tanks or battlecopters. So it's just a nice wall here. And my penguins in the back, just trying to catch up with the faster vehicles. I leave a small skeleton crew here, just to slow them down. Artillery checks what's in this forest. So I decide to take shots at that artillery that's infantry capturing my city, then kill it, and move a battlecopter to attack that tank. I withdraw over here. There's no point to fighting if I can't capture these properties. I don't exactly have any penguins to capture properties right now. I'm still waiting for these penguins to catch up. So I'm just playing defensively. I know that I scale fast. I scale better than Sonya as the units grow, and I decide to build a rocket. Rockets are usually pretty bad because they're very expensive and they're slow, but if I'm playing defensively over here and they come to me, then that fixes the problem of them being slow. And they are still pretty expensive, but I thought it would be fine. My opponent builds a bomber in response to my medium tanks. Okay, that's fair. Kills my recon to deny me my vision. And sits on the mountain so I can't do something like 1 HP load up on Black Boat, then drop them off on the mountain to get vision. Which is something you should pay attention to. That's why I typically keep 1 penguin on this mountain, because I don't want them to take this mountain for the vision. And a base kip. Okay, I mean, I suppose they built 2 air units, so they're not really losing on unit count. But I think, alright, maybe I can do some attacks here. I get rid of that artillery, and this is why artillery is not a counter to medium tanks. Well, it's a soft counter, but nah, I disagree with that. Penguins don't need to live on mountains. Penguins can rule the skies because they can fly, and everyone knows penguins can fly. So, reason why artillery isn't a good counter against medium tanks is that medium tanks, if they break through, they one-shot artillery. So. Sure. If penguins can fly, then explain these battlecopters. And my penguin, my infantry force, is catching up now, so I'm feeling a little more confident. Yeah, you can't argue with this logic with the battlecopters. If they can't fly, they wouldn't be able to have air units. Alright, my opponent uses counter break and a bomber. I was a little surprised by that. And as a result of that, they were able to wall break this medium tank on the city. They also have amazing vision now because they can see into the forest, they're Sonya, they're in counter break, so they know exactly where all my units are. Shoots my tank on the... shoots my artillery in the forest. And I think... Alright, now it's my turn. Even during counter break, tanks will always lose to medium tank, so I take this shot. I know this tank is damaged, so I take a shot. I know that tank is damaged, so I take a shot. The rocket shooting at an infantry, definitely paying its expensive 15,000 value right away. And the reason why it's paying me back is because I get to wall break it now. Wait, hang on. I don't know why it's not shading this penguin, but this penguin moved. It should have been shaded. Infantry will always lose to tanks. I think it's a little bit of a bug on the replay where if it's during counter break, these units don't get weighted for some reason. Oh well. Even if it's during counter break, I trust my infantry can still win some of these fights. And I use my hyper upgrade to heal up all the damage I've taken so far. And I try to go for this bomber even against Sonya counter break. Now the reasoning is that I would have 30% from the 30% defense from this property, and another 10% defense from my power being active. So I'm thinking maybe I can survive a hit. Maybe I'll survive at 4 HP, and then I counterattack and do some damage. I don't know how much I do because my opponent is Sonya. But it didn't work out exactly as I thought it would be. Note that even though these units look unweighted, it's just a visual bug, they are weighted. Okay. My opponent bombs my other medium tank, but it survives. It almost survived. Gets a shot at my rocket, but that's fine. And they continue their attack on my 1 base side, and also continue spreading out on this side. So I think I'm probably not going to win this area back anytime soon, so I should try to focus on winning this area. I do have a tank and a battlecopter ready, so maybe I can try to win this side back. This is the only thing the medium tank can shoot, so I'm going to kill that infantry. Kill off more infantry too, so I can clear the path for my anti-air. This infantry was in the way. My anti-air kills off that bomber. And I move a penguin on the mountain to get vision. Rocket plus a tank together kills off this infantry. Because of my superior numbers, I was able to wall break their infantry. Like, their infantry wall is just broken and I can run right through them and seek out their other battlecopter in the back. I continue blowing up their tanks, and I decide to go attack that anti-air. I wall off my battlecopter such that anti-air cannot reach my battlecopter anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Blocked off by my units, they can't reach my battlecopter. So this anti-air is pretty much dead. It can't even return to safety because I pretty much surrounded it. So I'd start battlecopter spamming here. I'm going to take these properties back now. And I'm also winning on this side where I will take all of these properties. So here I'm feeling confident. I think I'm winning. My opponent uses counter break, builds a missile, and then surrenders. So that was this game. I did like the idea of Sonya being able to have infantry on this mountain to just look at my base all the way from that mountain. That information is so useful to know whatever your opponent is building. I remember many turns I'm attacking here, I got an infantry on this mountain. I think it would be nice if I had the vision to see what they're building. That would help me a lot on whether or not I should attack. But ultimately, Andy is just a counter to Sonya, and I had the early game advantage when I successfully taken these two properties and this property down here, so I was up ahead like 2-3k income for much of the game before it evened out in the center. But that was this game.